core values to me I mean, if I had to put it in this form, I would tell you that the core values are the skeleton, the heart, and the brains of a body, right? That's exactly what it is to me. It is everything that holds everything together. It is a roadmap sometimes. Sometimes it is a sounding board. Sometimes it is, no kidding, your place of comfort. It has been for me. Sometimes it is your compass in life. It can be your saving grace, and it is something that bonds you with your brothers and sisters. Well, number one is you give them the freedom to think, and you give them the encouragement to be bold, and you give them the support and the top cover from malcontents and people that refuse to budge or to change, and you support them in their endeavors, and you encourage them, and at the end of the day, you recognize their effort. I love that saying because I've borrowed that from you many times. Be ready for whenever your 15 minutes are going to roll up. And you've said it before. Sometimes it's 15 minutes. Sometimes it's the course of 6 or 7 hours when you're calling airstrikes in on a battlefield, or it might be a day or a week. But how are you going to prepare yourselves? I don't know what my 15 minutes have been. I would hope to think that my 15 minutes, if I could give them to you a second at a time, it would be that I've influenced people here and there, that I've served as a role model and an inspiration for others. I can't tell you how many times some people have taken me aside and told me that and it's not just that I'm a Hispanic man, but that they're proud of me because of what I've said or what I've done, and that I've touched their heart in a certain way. So maybe my 15 minutes didn't happen all at once where I was, going hand to hand with somebody. I would like to think that I spread them across over 30 years, and that I touched people in a positive way, and that that I was a good leader for them. I would tell you that even as a very, very young individual, I was very influential. I don't know if that's the right word. I was a person that was very receptive to people having a positive influence on me. I think that's better said. So I did everything. I read a lot of the books. I can remember one in particular was Code of Conduct by Lieutenant Colonel John Dramessi. He was a POW in the Hanoi Hilton for a very long time, and I read his book as a young man a couple of times over, and I had always hoped that I would get an opportunity to meet the man, right? And I remember years later when they had the 10th anniversary. I think it was in Airmen magazine, the 10th anniversary of Operation Homecoming, and that's the first time that I had ever really seen a picture of John Dramessi. He had his head sticking out of the cockpit of a C-5, and he had a American flag that he had liberated from the Hanoi Hilton. I think he actually put that flag together by threads that he would take off of his uniform. He made the red part of that, he would roll that in clay until the threads took a certain color and stuff. And he I think, if I'm not correct, or if I'm not incorrect, I think he hand-stitched that flag and brought that back with him. And I could remember, oh my God, what would I ever do if I got an opportunity to meet that man? I never did, but I always said, what would it take for me to live like that, right? To not to have people break you, to be a person that can't be broken like that. And so I would tell you that, so again, from a very young age, I was heavily influenced by by maybe living up to the, or at least living up to the idea that I could be like that one day. And then much later in my career, I got an opportunity because, again, of the jobs that I had, I got an opportunity to meet and spend time with some, no kidding, Air Force legends. I was, as a Master Sergeant, selected to be the Special Assistant to the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. So in that position, I can't even begin to tell you how many people I met and how many times I ate dinner with Paul Airy and Gary Fingston and Jim Binnicker. And so those are some of our Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force that have passed on now. But to be able to meet and be friends with Don Harlow's wife, who passed away earlier this year, to know John Levito's son, to get an opportunity to, no kidding, sit in on a staff meeting with the Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force. That's what happened to me much later in my career, to spend time, no kidding, daily mentorship from Chief Murray and Chief McKinley. That's what I got much later in my career, but I have always been a sponge and influenced heavily by the right people. And so I owe them an incredible amount of gratitude and respect for them giving so much of their time and their energy on me. So I've been asked, now this is going to be, I think, the third time I get asked that here in the last couple of days. And so I would tell you, so I've given this a lot of thought, and even to a young airman, I would tell them, and I'm not just saying this because I'm saying it because I honestly believe it. This is one of the institutions that our nation has, the United States Air Force, where I can look a young 18-year-old in the eyeball and say that if you come into this institution right here and you buy in and you do the things that are incumbent of a good airman, then the sky is the limit. And honestly mean that. And so I tell them to make their career work for them, and to leave, whether it's after 4 or 6 or 20 years, to leave absolutely 100% exhausted because you didn't leave a single thing on the field. And if you do that, this is a beautiful life, and it is a noble job. Just like General Rand says, this is noble work, right? To be the 1% that is ready to take care of the other 99 today.